Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it is your host with the most, Avery LR32 here, and destroy the ever-living boo-boo stain off that Primite like and subscribe button, as I think I need to be getting me new sleeves. These are kind of getting all messed up, it looks like, in the glare. But, ladies and gentlemen, do smash that like and subscribe button as we climb in higher the 1600 ladder. Hope you all having a fantastic day. I tried to go to locals today, and no one showed up, so that's starting to happen to a couple of the locals around me. But there is one left, but not till Thursday and Saturday. But I want to show what I've been working on, because I've talked about in the past couple videos where I've been working on Primite Fiendsmith. I feel that this deck is actually a pretty good meta call, and it just won the Brazil National Championship, or whatever kind of big national championship they just had. And it came in first place. Now, it was not post-Alliance Insight, come to find out. But the concepts are still here, and there's a lot of different things that you can do with this list. There's like, I personally have like 3 or 4 different lists in the works that revolve around playing bice cards, Primite, and then of course a Fiendsmith engine. So I want to go through the theory craft, because it's very easy to get into your own echo chamber, especially since sadly our friend Valley D has decided to quit Yugioh just out of the blue. So I don't have my testing partner. I don't have my mentor, my coach, right? We're still friends, obviously, but now he's not playing the game, so I don't have anyone really to bounce ideas off of anymore. So it's very easy to get into an echo chamber of thinking that you know what you're talking about when maybe you actually don't. So there is that factor of it. So I want to go through what I've been thinking, and just kind of give you all my thoughts from playtesting a bunch online. And if you want a deck that honestly just cooks Malice like crazy, this deck does it like it's nobody's job. Like, it's actually really funny. So let's dive on into it here. So starting off, we're playing 3 copies of Ether Barrel. Any Primite Fiendsmith list is going to play 3 copies. They're even doing that in Blue Eyes, so that's pretty standard. That's it really for your regular monsters. So now we can move on to the bice / hand trap package. We're playing 1 Baldric, 1 Soroiner. I can't really do much about the Shadow, I'm sorry. 1 copy of Druid Swarm, 1 copy of Magnemite, and then some builds play 3. I'm messing around with 1. We're playing 1 copy of Lubellion. So something that, it's actually kind of funny, because one of the reasons why I'm playing this deck is because this is basically the deck list that our friend Valley D left me with, and I told him, well, I'll play Primite in your honor. And he's like, I would only ever play 1 Lubellion. But the thing is that with Lubellion, it's actually pretty good, even if you, like, say you open 2, because you could pitch 1, search, say, like, Magnemite, banish the Lubellion, you just pitch to summon Mag. Mag's going to get you search to the end phase, and then you contribute the other Lubellion in your hand to over the Magnemite to get out Lubellion, and then Lubellion gets you to regain. That's a really solid play, and also you don't mind opening multiples of these for that reason, but then also with the Necroquip line, you can get out Necroquip and then use Lubellion to pitch to get you a bice steal, and then Necroquip draws you a card. So that's a really, really good line that can actually come up fairly often in this deck. For the Fiendsmith package, our Fiendsmith package is a little bit different. We are playing 2 copies of Engraver, 1 Lacrima, and 1 Lurie. We're obviously playing the Tract and Paradise, but we're only on 1 Tract and 1 Paradise that you'll see. Actually, I may as well just bust it out here. But we're only on 1 Tract and 1 Paradise, and that's because of the fact that I really don't want to lose to Droll seeing multiple Engravers. You can still play full Fiendsmith engine with 1 Tract and 2 Engraver, and you don't have to worry about seeing multiples, usually in the case of Engraver, but then also you don't have to worry about being hit so hard by Droll. And that's one of the really strong things with Primite Fiendsmith, is that the deck really does not care about Droll at all. I can't tell you how many times I've summoned Ether Barrel, set Lordly Load, activate Lordly Load, search Primite Roar, and then my opponent Drolls me, and then I proceed to like set up Wave High King, and then go like, you know, Lordly Load to summon Luster Dragon, and I have a Roar in the graveyard, and I'm sitting on like 6 or 7 interruptions. Yeah, this deck just doesn't care about Droll. So, yeah, it's really, really good in that regard. Next up here, going with the hand traps, we are playing 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. I need to scoot back here a little bit. I'm messing around with 3 copies of Bell. In theory, this card is hella good, because being able to Bell the Malice and Underground, and specifically, it doesn't negate the effect, it negates the activation. So as long as the card doesn't say you can only activate 1 per turn, then you're sitting in a really nice spot. because if it says you can only activate one per turn, then obviously if you negate the activation, they can still play another one. But if it says use, then, you know, you're off to the races. It doesn't matter. I'm sure this gold rare is going to piss somebody off and bother them. But some people play 2. I'm messing around with 3. I'm not playing Nibiru because of the fact that I don't feel Nibiru trades well into the current meta, you know, especially with the new support that Mitsurugi has. You're not very going to often, if that sentence even makes sense, it's like after 11 o'clock at night, I'm tired, I'm sorry. You're not going to very often end up in a situation where, like, they have the Murakumo, whatever the Omni Negate is up, and then, like, they go to pass, and you can go end of main nib, and then they use the effect to negate, and you just pitch the nib and then clear their board. And even then, with the new support, if you tribute their stuff, they're just going to get pluses anyway. So, you know, it's almost like you can't even really play Sphere Mode or Kaijus into that deck because they're just going to get value off of their stuff being tributed. They can search Nibiru because of the Gallant Granite that they play. And so I think that not playing Nib is solid overall and just going with Bells. And then also, too, you don't really ever want to Bell your own Bice Steals because you want to use them for either an M7 line or just to be able to go Moon to the Closed Heaven and then go into full Fiendsmith combo. So, messing around with Bells, not sure if I'm totally sold, but especially for Malice, it's very helpful. If I could get this centered, I keep moving the cards around. We're playing 3 Fua. I've seen some lists that side deck Fua. I think Fua is just too much of a god card not to play. I feel that you got to be playing this. I'm not even on Meowsle right now on my side, and I may end up putting Meowsle in my side. And you'll see why I'm not playing it, because there's another spicy tech that I'm messing around with. But yeah, I think no matter what deck you play in this format, we're in a combo-heavy format, you got to play fucking Meowsle. Next up, we're playing 3 Ash, because the card's good. And then 3 Droll. So I'm sure that someone's going to be annoyed by this because of the Mulch armies. But my whole thing with Droll and Mulch armies, if you open, say, like 1 Fua, 99% of the time, the opponent will have like the Ash call by crossout, whatever, for my Mulch army. So at first, I didn't want to play Droll because in a deck like this where you want to be doing like 1-for-1 trades or like 2-for-1 trades with the opponent, where, like, you know, say they're like on Blue Eyes, they go Wishes, pitch a card, and then you want to Ash. Droll doesn't really accomplish that in the sense of, let's say that the opponent's on a Fiendsmith engine and they go Engraver, pitch to get tracked, and you go Unres Droll. Well, you shut off the tracked, but now they're still at 5 cards in their hand. You know, maybe they do like some sort of suboptimal line where they can still build a board, but then they're sitting on, you know, 3 or 4 cards in hand for follow-up, or their hand traps. So at first I didn't want to play Droll because I'm like, well, I want to play something where I can trade with them for their resource advantage, and then just end up in the grind game where I just have advantage by resources and I win because of it. I ended up abandoning that idea because I was like, you can still play Mulch armies with this, because if they don't negate the Mulch army, you're just going to draw cards. And then you can Droll if you happen to be in a position where just Drolling is better than drawing, which usually doesn't come up. Or if you're in a position where you open, like, say, double Fua, then you just double Fua them. You go draw phase Fua, and then when you're about to draw from Fua, you just chain the other one. Like, if they go Requiem, effect Tribute, and then you just go chain the other Fua, and then you know you're going to draw 2. So, like, at that point, if you're drawing all those cards, of course you're not going to Droll. You can just hold the Droll for the next turn at that point. So I don't think it's wrong. I don't even think it's wrong post-side to play, like, all 9 Mulch armies. Like, just play 3 Fua, Pirellia, and Meowsle, and then keep in Droll if it's good into the matchup. Because if you don't see the Mulch armies, you see the Drolls. And if they negate your Mulch army, then you have the Drolls as backup. Like, it's basically just playing more turn skips. And especially in a deck like this, I don't think that that's a bad thing. And then for the vanillas, we're playing the brand new Dippity and Luster Dragon. You'll see why we're playing Luster Dragon, because, spoiler alert, we're on 3 Roar, and we're on something spicy on the side. And then Dippity basically just replaces White Duston. It's got the same stats as White Duston, 0/0. It's also a Light Fiend, but it's level 4. So that means you can Primite Roar into this. And then with a Bice Steel on the board that's level 6, you can make a Light and Dark Chaos Angel. You could also instead, you could cut the Luster Dragon. You could play either Summon Skull or more optimally Beast of Talwar. And then if you go like say Primite Roar, Call Beast of Ta War, summon the Ta War, normal summon Dippity, and then you make a Light and Dark Chaos Angel, which is really crazy. So Luster Dragon I think is pretty good though because it can't get Bice sealed, and then Dippity is just full Fiendsmith combo. Like you don't even mind opening this. Like this card is really, really good. For the spells, we are playing, if I could pick them up, we are playing 3 Load. This card is still $50. It's really insane. And then 3 Roar. So, spoiler alert, we're also on 2 Drill Beam and then the 1 Regain. So, we're on 3 Roar because being able to roar into Dippity, and it's not once per turn, so like you can go roar into Dippity. If they ash, then you can chain another one, still get to Dippity and have full Fiendsmith combo. You can roar into Luster Dragon in order to like link off with Ether Barrel to go into seals. Or you can make your Dragon's Bind live. Spoiler alert that we're playing in the side. That's the spice. And we're going to explain that once we get to the side. But then you're also having room for double Drill Beam and Regain. And so with 3 Roar, compared to playing just 1, you're more likely to be able to get off Drill Beam. So playing 2 is fine because you just have to reveal a Primite card in your hand or a vanilla. Or have a vanilla on board, you just can't reveal Drill Beam. So having 3 Roar is great for that. It's essentially more copies of your vanillas. And then Regained is just Regain. Regain, we actually got to talk about this. Regain's fucking disgusting. So Regained is so good into Malice. I actually had a Malice match earlier today on EDO Pro where I had this up and the guy went Goldsark into Dormouse and he goes Dormouse effect, pay 300. I go chain the Regain. Put your Dormouse back and I get to draw 1. Regained is so good, specifically when it's not your turn. Because if the opponent's banishing Malice monsters on your turn, then the Regain's going to activate as Chainlink 1, and then the Malice monsters will activate as Chainlink 2, and then you're not really getting any value. Also, this being able to summon back a Bice Steel from grave is really good, especially if it's Magnemite, because then you just get another fucking search. So yeah, I'm really liking the Regain package. Let's talk about the side, because extra deck's pretty standard. We're playing 3 Pirellia because card's good. 3 Lancia because it's kind of a turn skip up against Malice still. Double Lightning Storm Feather Duster. I'm seeing this in a lot of side decks lately. These cards are just absolutely bonkers, especially when like you're drawing a shit ton off Mulch armies. Like I've had 2 games now where I've drawn like over 9 cards from Mulch armies. I just had one today where I drew like 6 or 7 cards in testing like a couple hours ago, and we had like Lightning Storm and Duster. Like it's fucking bananas. These cards are insane. I was messing with Evenly. I don't like skipping my battle phase with Evenly, and I don't feel like it's necessary when these kind of get the job done on their own. So these cards are absolutely insane. And then for the spice, we're playing 3 Dragon's Bind. So you target a dragon monster on your field with 2,500 or less attack and defense, and then neither player can special summon monsters with attack less than or equal to that monster's attack. So if you have like Blue Eyes up, then neither player can special summon any monsters with 3,000 or less attack. It also just goes based off of whatever the monster's attack is, not the original. So like let's say you end up in a weird situation, which hopefully this never comes up for you, but you go like say Seal's Tribute, summon Magnemite. You could still use Dragon Bind to target the Magnemite. It's just it wouldn't do anything because its stats are 0. But if you increase its attack, like say it goes up to 5,000, well now neither player can special summon monsters with 5,000 or less attack. So the ideal with this is that you go activate Primite Roar, call Luster Dragon, summon the Luster Dragon, set the Dragon's Bind, and like say you go up against like Rizal and they go normal summon ice activate effect, you chain the Dragon Bind, you can target the Luster Dragon, and now neither player can special summon any monsters with 1,900 or less, and they can't run it over because Roar protects your Primites and Vanillas from being destroyed by battle till the end of the opponent's turn. So they're basically just sitting there kind of screwed. The problem I have with it is that if you happen to summon 2 or more times from the extra deck doing that play, then they can make Sky Crisis, so you kind of are forced to go like Roar into Luster Dragon and then set the Dragon's Bind and just pass and hope that they don't have like a Feather Duster or a Lightning Storm or something. Or you gotta hope and pray that they don't have like a Bice Steel so they can like banish a Lighter Dark and then summon and then like at least sit on that. Or like summon like a level 4 Lighter Dark and then make a Chaos Angel and just banish it. So I'm really not sold on this card. This card's terrible into Blue Eyes because they can just like roar, or not even roar, but Lordly Load or True Light into like a fucking Blue Eyes and just sit on it. And so it's, I don't know if I'm sold. And then last but of course not least is 3 Solemn Judgment. Just God Says No is amazing this format, and I saw that Master Shits put it to 2, and I'm like, that explains why Master Shits is still a terrible game. I don't know why people still play that garbage simulator. And yes, it's an official simulator for people who try to put on clown makeup and say that it's not when it's been advertised. One. Anyway, this isn't a Master Shits rant. 2 Requiem. Card's amazing. 1 Sequence. 1 Moon. 1 Heavenly Seals. 1 Little Knight. It's good. 1 Agnum Day. It's good. People actually tried to tell me to not play this because you control the game with Sequence. And I'm like, nah, man, Agnum Day is insane. I actually got an Engraver to 6,000 attack because I had Agnum Day, Sequence, and Requiem all equipped. So my Engraver was 6,000 attack. It was actually really funny. And then Link Spider, the idea with this is that if you open both vanillas, then you can go like summon Luster Dragon, link off into Link Spider, summon the Dippity. Then you have an extra body to work with like Fiendsmith lines. This is probably going to become Imduke if I end up going to another build I'm working on that plays Beast of Talwar. Because Imduke is a dragon, so you can still go into Seals. Like, let's say you don't want to do Fiendsmith line. You can just normal summon the Dippity, convert it into an Imduke. And Imduke has a nice effect, too, where the monster it's battling, if it's pointing to it, it just destroys it automatically. So it's kind of a card clearer, too, in niche situations. And then it's a dragon, so you can just link off of the barrel to still make Seals. It's actually really good. And then we got M7. This really never comes up. Yeah, it just hasn't come up. And then 1 Sky Crisis and 1 Wave High King. I was playing Zeus, but same thing, like Zeus never came up. The Dark Knight Lancer thing has really fallen out of favor, I feel, with players. And I feel that whole Dark Knight Lancer line just takes up space in the extra deck for Fiendsmith stuff that you could be playing. There is the argument to be made that you could be playing Zeus, because, like, I guess in the grind game, if you somehow don't fucking OTK, if they can't out the High King, and, like, you only use 1 material of the High King, you could punch for 28 and then go main phase 2, make a Zeus, and it's a 1 nuke Zeus. Because it's only going to have 2 materials if you use the High King once. But, like, that just never comes up because, like, if I get to the next turn and I still have a High King up with, like, at least 1 material, I'm probably winning the ball game at that point anyway because I just use Fiendsmith Engine. 1 Necroquip because I like drawing cards. And then 2 Disarray, 1 Super, 1's Ulti, don't hate me. Some people cut this to just play, like, say, Zeus or just something else. Of course, I'm playing the Chaos Angel because it's good. My whole thing with Disarray is that I love being able to have a Disarray established and then have Paradise not be dead. So being able to still go Paradise, dump a card, to have that interruption, it essentially turns on both your Disarray effects, like if you have 1 up on the board at the same time, because you can go Paradise, send, and then send something back, assuming you have like another Light Fiend Engrave, even after fusing into this, which you may or may not. Or, you know, you could just negate, and then maybe just not send something on the field to the grave and then use Paradise to send it back. It comes up rarely where you need to, or like you have 1 up and then, you know, you can send the other one. But I like having that security blanket of having 2. So overall, I mean, I feel like the deck functions really, really well. My only concern is just that I don't know if I should be maxing out more on the Fiendsmith package. It seems correct to be honing back on it. And then, like, I'm conflicted on if I want to play 3 Lubellion or not, because that just seems really good. Setting up Regain is almost like an interruption and a win condition in a way against Malice. And it makes me paranoid because it's like every deck right now is siding or maining Droll, and I feel like even more decks are going to be maining Droll now because Mitsurugi Rizal just won the YCS. And so if you opt to like play more search heavy cards, if you're forced to go like Lubellion pitch to get Magnuma and you get hit with a Droll in game 1 because they're maining it, you're kind of crapping all over the venue floor at that point, because now it's like if you can't establish the Regained, or you have to like go hard minus because let's say you added the Magnamut, then you've got to like banish the Lubellion you just pitched and then tribute to summon the second. You're not going to get a search off the mag. Well, I'm sorry, you would get a search off the mag if you have a Dragon Engrave, but that's probably not going to happen since you just banished your fucking Lubellion. If you're able to like get another Dragon Engrave, great. If not, well then you're kind of screwed. But just Regained is so good. Being able to have this as like an interruption and being able to summon a Bice Steel again, like is pretty solid, especially for like Baldrake Engrave. You're just creating another interruption for the opponent that they have to play through. But I'm really loving this deck. It reminds me a lot of Chain Beat back in the day from like 12 years ago, where like if you misplayed once, you were probably losing the game. But like a lot of player skill goes into a deck like this, to where like the better you are with it, the more rewarded you get. But I really want to know what y'all think down in the comments. I really wanted to break this down and take the time to explain it, because no one's really talking about this deck. Maybe now that I'm posting about it, maybe more people will. But I definitely think that this is a sleeper pick of the format. And the only thing I'm concerned with at this point is the Mitsurugi Rise All matchup, because Malice is basically a buy, depending on how they open, especially like if you set up Regain, you've got like 5 or 6 interruptions. The other thing is, too, and I'll end the video on this, one thing I don't like about playing Luster Dragon is that Primite Roar trades so badly with Malice, because, you know, they summon, say, like Dormouse, and then you go Roar, target Luster Dragon, banish Dormouse. Dormouse gets summoned back. They try and use the effect. You go Chain Drill Beam, assuming you have it set up to negate and banish, and then you got to hope that they just don't have an extender. Like, it trades really bad. So, guys, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.